So I want to promote something. It's a documentary made by a journalist and documentarian John Pillger. It's the title of the documentary is "The Unseen War," and look it up, watch it. It's eye-opening, and it goes into great detail. And there are a lot of people uh, who are in media and and I think at least one, who is a political bureaucrat in the United States. I'm pretty sure he's a past political bureaucrat. But one thing you've come to understand is that if you're a political bureaucrat, there's no such thing as an ex-political bureaucrat. So, check that out. I strongly recommend you check it out. The Unseen War. And as I said, it's eye-opening. There's a lot of detail in it, and you'll be surprised at some of the names and faces that pop up in this documentary. I mean, really surprised. I won't go into it now because I want you to watch it yourself. But this takes me into the criminality, and what I can't understand is how people who speak about them, talk about them, can't seem and even use terms like they're criminals, the criminality, criminals. How they can't seem to put that one and one together and say, you know what, this shouldn't, this is intolerable. We should not allow. We should come together, and we should forcefully and militantly see them removed, and take them all out from the centers of power. And you know, it's it's criminally negligent on our part not to do, not to be advocating for this to happen. We need a forcefully militant revolution. We need to burn down the system and rebuild it from scratch. The cost to us and those of us who are not big wealth, that don't have a big wealth or connections, that aren't trying to get into the business, because it's a business of politics, of seeking centers of power, or wanting to get into the political bureaucracy that will secure them, if they're subservient, a place and uh, and stability and security for themselves. Uh, or those who, and it's the same thing with the so-called corporations and the wealthy and in the banking, financial, you know, retail, tech, or what have you, chemical, petrochemical, you name it, or even in the even in the education sectors. So it needs to be burned down. We need to forcefully and militantly burn it all down uh, and bring in a focus on equity and equity the equity of secure stability that doesn't have to rely on lying to the public, ginning up wars, you know, fabricating the need and for new weapon systems that don't function, or weapon systems. They propose weapon systems that that they need to test, and so other than making profits, which they do, they put this insane price on these weapon systems, and they gin it up by saying it's going to do this, it's going to do that, and it's going to do this and that, and then uh, you obviously going to have to prove it, and then when you don't, what you have is you you see to the the officers the high officers that will or that will you know the high officers in the military and the military bureaucracy who will be willing to lie or exaggerate, all of that, and see that they get into higher positions, to serve the interests, So that's all just utter criminality. I was in the Air Force, and one thing I heard about you know, uh, and it's common. You commonly hear it. That the U.S. military will pay $1,000 or $1,200 or $20,000 for a roll of toilet paper, or or a pencil. It just that's something I heard a lot when I was in the Air Force. It was talked about in this frank manner. And that I was young, and had I, but even though I was young, I was thinking to myself, what? How? Yeah, but that's a reality, and that can only speak to the corrupt, how corrupt it is, and that was before the first the first invasion into Iraq. So it's utterly insane, and so we need to break it. We need to smash it. We need to raid it, and we can't have have it so it's like the growing sentiment of the American public and a lot of Europeans is that their governments are bullshit, their militaries are bullshit. Uh, Mostly in the political and the political bureaucracy, they're bullshit. But there's a growing sentiment that the militaries. My problem is that the military is not bullshit, but what they're used for is bullshit, and more importantly, I don't want my brother was in the Air Force. He has post-traumatic stress syndrome because he had bullets whizzing by him. He had IEDs and RPGs and all sorts of other things. You know, uh, come near to killing him. Uh, so you know, but there are other military personnel who have witnessed the slaughter of civilians and people holding cameras and microphones, that work for so-called journalistic centers like Routers, who had I think it was like 8 or 9 of their personnel gunned down by a Apache helicopter. Um, and when some civilians saw this, they went to pick up the bodies and probably to see, to, you know what I mean. They went just to pick up to help, and it was one van with a family and maybe probably some friends and relatives. They came out to help, and they were gunned down, and there were children in there. One boy died. This one adolescent boy died, and this another adolescent girl was severely injured. And that's WikiLeaks posted the video, and if you listen to what those Apache pilots and the people who supposedly supposed to authorize it and how they're talking, they sound like they sound like they sound like psychopaths. And then when you listen to the other military members who were trying to help out the little girl and little boy, and the response, when they were asking to have them transferred, and I forget the name of one of the soldiers, but he spoke out about it on video, about that particular experience. And when you listen to it, you're like, what the hell? And so I don't want that to happen. I don't want our military to be turned into rapacious psychopathic killers. And I don't want them killing and dying for the profit of the military industrial complex or the fossil fuel industry or these so-called businesses that are supposed to rebuild after our military was used to destroy a country based on a pack of lies. And unfortunately, that is what continuously happens. There's Vietnam, uh, uh, the Philippines, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, uh, uh, the Iran Contra affair, or Haiti, uh, you know, a police action in Haiti, like, uh, and the United States was able to with Britain to gin up United Nations to go in it, and unfortunately, Haiti, they're trying to do it again in Haiti. They're not trying. They've already succeeded in doing that, and they're now trying to get, you know, get others to send police security forces like Kenya, who wants to send, but there's opposition in Kenya to do that, or what's happening in Niger, in the Sahel and West Africa, uh, with ECOWAS, which is primarily Nigeria, which is also in West Africa and in the Sahel region. Uh, there are, like, I think 14 or 9 African countries that that are colonial colonies, and you can call it neo-colonial, but it's if you don't control your if you don't control your money or your banking, uh, and uh, and the businesses that are mining the resources like uranium, gold, petroleum, uh, iron ore, copper, lithium, diamonds, what have you, are controlled by France, or controlled by British companies, or U.S. You know, and not only that, but it's like this is a dynamic, and so as I said, go watch that documentary, the Unseen War, and you'll see and hear about the the cost in human lives, the cost in the environmental devastation, the cost in all around. It's it's more than perverse; it's evil, and so that's where these people are spending insane amounts of money uh, to do all these things, and they call it foreign policy, but it's to profit a few, and it's bleeding away our economy, our money, our stability and security, and you know. Meanwhile, the our communities, the large portions of our communities are deteriorating. Take, for instance, certain sections of Detroit. If you search, you can look at it, and you would swear it's a third world. And Detroit is not just one anomaly. It's in a lot. And the other thing is the other perversely evil factor is that it's because it's so-called minority, Black Americans, or Indigenous Americans, or those those dirty immigrants, and Americans, seem to forget that they were the ones that invaded. They were the ones that immigrated. The original sin is that Europeans invaded and immigrated to the Americas, which was not unpopulated as the propaganda lies of history that is told. There are the most credible. Say there were hundreds of millions, if not more, in the Americas already. That they weren't just living in teepees and adobe and sparse sparsely. That's complete. The even so-called mainstream documentaries, like the ones you see on PBS, like the ones on the History Channel, and all that. I mean, there's clearly a bias, but even then, they talk about the how they talk about the certain advancements and other surprising things, that they found in the Americas, such as the level of medical treatment, of the I think it was the Aztecs. The Aztecs had incredible medical health, in what they could treat, what they could do, how long their people could live, or the Mayans who had far more detailed astrological knowledge. It's come out that the Chinese were well ahead as well, and I'm talking about the ancient Chinese. I'm talking about of course, the Maya and the Aztecs. One thing they constantly promote is like they don't know what happened to the Aztecs or the Mayans or all these other, And the thing is, and that's another omission. That's another lie. They know what happened. They know what happened. There's if you think about it, and even if you remain ignorant of a large portion of the stuff, it just doesn't make sense what's taught as history in the United States. It doesn't. It's just utterly ridiculous. And so, what's the point of all this? It's this sort of thing has been going on for centuries. The colonialism never went away. It's always remained. The United States was not anti-colonial. What the United States was anti-colonial on the part of the Europeans. The United States wanted to take over what the Europeans had started. They wanted hegemonic control. And the United States was put in a beautiful situation for these mass murdering psychopaths in the so-called business captains of industry and those in the political system, the political dynasties. The Clintons are a political dynasty. The Kennedys are a political dynasty. You'll be surprised at how many of the politicians, have a history uh, where their families are connected to the either to the high echelons of the military or the or or politics or in bureaucracy. Uh, and this isn't just on the national side; it's on the state side. You know, so it's this has been going on for centuries, uh, and even if you study some of the domestic history, the ones that they're not teaching you in school, uh, and there's a lot of history that's omitted, or it's narrated in a certain way to give a false or misrepresenting, while at the same time they're trying to uh, speak about inequity or prejudice. Uh, like the civil rights movement. There's a lot, even when they're talking about Martin Luther King. There's a lot of shit that is very pertinent to the history, to the reality that they omit. Um, this is also something that they've done. From day one. Uh, Even before the Mayflower and Christopher Columbus. This is the sort of shit that they've been doing. Uh, they did it, to gin up public interest, to get the dupes to come along, so that they can be used to harvest material and other things, so that they can sell back in the in from where they came from Europe, uh, to fight the indigenous. Of course, the fight is started by them, and the indigenous were the scapegoats. And so you gin up the fear, you gin up the anger, and you make them, the colonial fodder believe that they're the victims, and then they go around doing it, and of course, you know, uh, most people won't like to admit that, yeah, they were fooled, that they were duped, uh, and of course, the way you do that is saying, oh, they're savages, they're barbarians, they deserve what they get, you know, omitting the fact that, hey, this isn't Europe. This isn't Great Britain. This isn't France. This isn't Italy. This isn't Spain. This isn't Portugal. This isn't the Dutch Netherlands. You know, and so on and so forth. So that's how it's done. And the only way you can get that is if you're a nefarious, malicious, evil. And that's your intention. And so that's the dynamic they've been using ever since, and it continues to happen. The U.S. is a colonial invasion, and they've always had to use violence. They've always had to use dogmatic rhetoric. They've always had to make uh, Europeans feel like the victims, that they are the ones in danger, Otherwise, you can't generate or gin up the anger and the fear to uh, to uh, do the atrocities. That's how it's done. It is. If you start following even the Western uh, truncated histories, you know, you get you and you base it uh, in the proper context, especially if you have a solid foundation for what we call morals and ethics, values and principles, and you're not and you can say, like, hell, you can say, well, what if it was me that was on the opposite side of this, and I'm the true victim, along with uh, basically, I'm placing myself in the shoes of the victims uh, of this evil, this perpetrated evil. So, that brings you walk a mile in another shoes. So, Korea. I was born in South Korea, and I've always wanted to know what really happened, and the real history that I'm finding out about what happened in Korea. Uh, you know, that makes me a victim, and a victim of all of the generations of people in Korea. Uh, you know, and that's why I look at South Korea and what they allow, the people of South Korea allow. I I, I find it incomprehensible. I'm not one of these that thinks that blood is thicker than water. That's bullshit. We all have blood. We all have blood. It is all red. It's blue when it's inside. It's red when it comes out. We all want to be able to feed ourselves. We all want a roof over our heads. We all want to have comfort and stability in winter. Being out of the elements. We all want the ability to have security, so that we don't have someone, like, say somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I like how that, I like that person's house, their property," and you know what? I got sway. I have money in it. I can go in there and take that house and not pay for it, and just take it. So I'm gonna, and we would all want a secure, stable place where that is not allowed. But that's exactly what the Europeans and their descendants have been doing. And worse is they've gotten Africans who were enslaved, made property, and use like you use a chair, but even worse. It's like those people that have cockfights or dog fights or whatever. It's like dogs and chickens and other. They're just property. They're just things. And the whole thing is, we as people don't want that. We don't believe that's right. We want stability, security. We want respect, so that we in turn can give respect to others. But that is the disparity, because those who hold the powers, who sit in the centers of power, who orchestrate it, they don't think that way. And those that come in thinking that that these centers of power think like them, you are quickly turned and made to understand. But that's not the way things operate. And in modern days, it gets more sophisticated. These people uh, uh, that run like AOC and a squad and Bernie Sanders, all of them, they uh, they're not allowed. They're not allowed to be in the political sphere, the access to the power centers, if they won't play ball. And Bernie Sanders proved that for all his rhetoric, he is willing to play ball. And so you have to understand this, and the only way you can understand it is if you pay attention, if you invest the time, and if you have a strong principles, values, ethics, and morals, and life experience, things that cause trauma, things that cause suffering and struggle, can help to center it, to give you that. This doesn't mean that you're always going. You like I have. I've made plenty of mistakes. I have posted videos that I have clearly stated through ignorance, opinions that were clearly without knowing the fullness of what I was talking about. And I put out a video that stated, I'm not going to take down or make corrections, because the point of it is I want you to understand that growth takes time, but growth that which you don't see as you watch the timeline, as you pay attention to it, and the growth in what I have to say. When that is not consistently progressive, meaning and progressing forward, I don't talk about stuff, and then later when it comes to like during the Bernie, Trump, and Biden election, I didn't go with the lesser of evil, and as a matter of fact, I was originally going to vote for Bernie. I was going to participate in the electoral process. I donated to Bernie money I really couldn't afford to donate. As a matter of fact, I even donated to somebody else. I forget that person, but later on I found out that she's full of shit as well. She was an opportunist. Bernie is an opportunist. AOC is an opportunist. The whole squad is an opportunist. They have no basis for consistency or strong ethics or morals. So that's the point of why I don't take down videos, why I don't put in corrections, and so on and so forth. As I said, I I did not vote. As a matter of fact, I stopped supporting Bernie altogether because even before Bernie had said he was dropping out. Uh, so yeah. Anyways, that's I'll end it here. Thanks.